Hello, DMV sports fans and sports fans around these United States. Welcome to Mike Mason's Showcase Network, and you are right here on the DMV Sports Fans channel. All right. I don't know about y'all, but look at here. It was a very exciting and exhilarating wild card weekend, and we're gonna talk about them games now. I'm gonna tell you something. We had them games kick off on Saturday where we had Vegas and them there Cincinnati Bengals, New England and Buffalo. We had Philadelphia and Tampa on Sunday, and San Francisco and them girls on Sunday who rounded it out. And I don't know about y'all, but they didn't round it out, but then we had Pittsburgh and Kansas City on Sunday night, and then we rolled into Monday where we had them Cards and them Rams. Oh, it was a great weekend. It was a great weekend, I mind you. Okay, but before we break these games down from this past weekend, let me introduce to my cohorts who are also my brother. Down below there, we have my brother D'Anthony, a.k.a. Pedro. Show him some love.
Peace and love, everybody.
And then over here, looking in the screen to my left, I got my other brother, Ken. His name is Kenny. Say something, son.
Hello.
All right, there. Hello didn't sound too bright today, but we're going to find out why. All right, so look here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what happened now. All the games that went through Saturday, Sunday, and into Sunday night, into Monday. What I want to know, I'm going to start with Pedro. I want to know out of there, who was your hand during that week? Who was your hand?
Well, I have to go with the Rams.
Okay. Them Rams, huh?
Rams played a solid game, and you know they are getting better.
They put the BBs on them Cards.
But look here, Mike and Ken. Mm-hmm. We said this before. It is very clear now. Mm-hmm. That trade between Stafford and Goff, Detroit got the bad end of that trade, man.
Oh, no question.
You know, and I don't know. You know what? The ownership in Detroit need to fire everybody that was involved in making that trade.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, why would you get rid of Stafford, man? Stafford was not your problem in Detroit. It was what you had around. That was the problem. Yeah. But guess what? I tell you what Stafford did. Stafford said, "Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch is dead." He rolled out, and look where he's at now. You're right. That's it. Who's your prime?
I'm man. My prime, and I had played with Kenny a little bit last week, but y'all know who I wanted to win. Them San Francisco 49ers. Oh, man, from word go. You hear what
Hey, but look here. Before you continue on, I just want to remind Ken of something. No matter where you go, and when I say where you go, I'm talking about them girls or them boys. No matter where you go, around the corner lurking is always going to be something relative to Washington. And you had a few attributes relative to Washington. You had the head coach. You had the tackle.
Trent Williams.
That's Trent Williams.
Yeah.
So you had some pieces there. So you can run, but you can't hide. Go ahead, Pedro.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it got a little bit sloppy for 49ers at the end of the game. But I just want to say this, Mike.
Go ahead.
You know, Ken, the Cowboy Nation, America's team. I come to y'all this evening in peace. I really do.
And you continue on talking to Ken. I'm gonna step away, but continue talking to Ken. Go ahead and talk to the fans. Talk to the fans.
I come to y'all with peace. Because at the beginning of the season, Kenny, I said that the biggest problem out there in Dallas was Mike McCarthy. And it was proven that he was the biggest problem. But now you have another problem. You have Dak Prescott that got stuck on stupid, that want to do a quarterback sneak along with Kellen Moore. So, that was a mess. That was a mess. That was a total mess. However, the results, I have to give Dallas my boogers and beans, because that was just that was a mess. It was the utter mess at the end of the game. The time management was bad, the execution was bad, and then for them to blame the referees, that was bad as well. It shouldn't have come down, and I know you're going to agree with me, Kenny. It should not have come down to the referee spotting that ball. And everybody looking at the referee spotting the ball, but it should not have come down to that. So,
but can I interject on one thing about that, though, D? Pedro, can I interject about one thing? How about them Cowboys? Look here. And talking about 14 seconds, man, sometimes you ain't got 14 seconds to go to your front door. Now, how you figure you're going to run down the field 14 seconds and have enough time to take a shot in the end zone? I'm going to tell you, that was poor management, like Pedro said with Mike McCarthy. He told you Mike McCarthy would be the death of you. He is the death of you. Don't blame it on Kellen Moore, because he's not the head coach. He's only the coordinator. I'm telling you right now, Ken, y'all will not go no further if you don't get an adequate head coach and Jerry Jones step out the way.
Mike, and I don't want to pile on the Cowboys.
It's not the Cowboys, it's the leadership.
But look, Mike, look. See, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Every year it's about the Super Bowl. And then they lose in grand fashion in the first round of the playoff.
Grand fashion.
I mean, Tony Romo fumbling on the field goal. Who was it? Dez Bryant that didn't have the catch at the
end Green Bay, doing Green Bay.
Yeah. And then you got Dak Prescott want to run 20 yards with 14 seconds left, and then you leave the fans crying.
I mean, hello, not just crying, but there was one fan, and I like that one for sure, because I know that young lady, that sister, and I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. I'm talking about her. But that sister right there was talking trash all week. And she went to that stadium and saw what she saw. You know what she said? She may have said, y'all some junk. But I know what she really said, and she said, y'all have had me talking trash all week. Now I got to go face these same people that I told that I was talking trash to. And y'all gonna put a display on like this? One thing that I couldn't understand, man, is for all the hype behind Dallas this year, for all the glory, for all the people predicting them to go to the Super Bowl, for them to start the game the way they started, showed me one thing. They have no control, no leadership, no nothing in that camp. They are purely, put it like this. Why was that and Mike McCarthy and the rest of them Cowboys complaining about that play at the end of the game? All you was doing was, okay, all you was asking for was a second chance to lose the game. That's all you was asking for. Because it still would have been a miracle. You still had to get a touchdown. It wasn't that play. It was everything that transpired before that play that caused you to be in the position you were in. So why are you complaining? Oh, I can tell you right now, if you really go back to all them Dallas fans when that play started, if not all, but majority of those fans, when Dak took off, said, what is he doing? That's what they said. And then, because of the fact of what transpired when he slid, the referee was late getting there. Now they had an out. They had someone to blame it on. When you should have been blaming it on that from the start, or whoever called the play. Because if that was the man in Dallas, he would have audibled out that play. Because you can get to a spot quicker in the air than with your leg. We know that for a fact.
Hey, Mike.
You had time to throw 2 passes. 14 seconds, you could have thrown 2 passes.
Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got a quarterback made $40 million this year. 254 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown, and a bone-hitted play.
Yeah.
Then you had a running back. I think he made something like $25, $30 million this year, whatever it was. 12 carries for 31 yards. CeeDee Lamb, not even on here. You had Schultz, 7 catches, 89 yards. Cooper, you ain't had that a whole game. All the big boys didn't show up.
Oh yeah, that was a big problem. I mean, everybody was talking about that. The stars didn't put the game on their back. That's what it was.
Let me get something straight. They almost lost to a Redskin team that was totally depleted by, or Washington football team that was totally depleted by COVID and really didn't have a quarterback. They only won that game by 7.
Right.
Then we were still depleted with COVID and injury. They hung 56 on us. Now Dallas back on track. They got things together. They hung 51 on Philadelphia against the second string and third string, and everything in Big D was wonderful.
Yeah. But no, I'm gonna give you a chance.
I mean, y'all done had.
I'm gonna just say one more thing. And we can move on. I'm gonna say one more thing, or you can elaborate. But the only last thing I want to say is this: look, Dallas, you beat us, fine. You beat us twice, fine. But here's the thing: before you go celebrating because you beat the Washington football team, what you really need to do is beat the teams that the Washington football team beat to put you in better position, like the Tampa Bay and the Raiders. All right, you caught us depleted. And the first time you caught us, we was willy-nilly. We was depleted both times. So regardless of that, we already knew what our destiny was. But y'all's destiny was Super Bowl or bust.
What happened. That's next year. You can talk that smack next year. So let's move on so I can get to talking about what I felt about the game, what a lot of Cowboy Nation felt about the game. So let's move on. You done got your glory.
Okay, you want to elaborate on the game? Or you want to go? You want to elaborate on?
I'll elaborate when I get to
okay.
All
right,
I'll elaborate with them.
Okay, go ahead. Who was your ham, Mr. Kingpin?
So my ham sandwich was the Cincinnati Bengals. As I said at the beginning of the year, and I will always stick with that what Cincinnati was doing and creating was going to be special, and it's winding up to be in that favor.
And I was absolutely wrong. I was absolutely wrong about that conference. I had said that Pittsburgh or Baltimore was going to come out that conference, and look who came out. Go ahead, King.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Who?
My prime rib.
Who's your prime?
My prime rib is the Buffalo Bills. They always had it in them. And on contrary, I do believe that Buffalo Bills will be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. And I do believe that,
So you think they're gonna beat Kansas City?
4 straight Super Bowls they lost. I do believe that this might be the year that they get that town the Super Bowl that they've been craving for years. They're on track for it. I do believe that.
Kenny, I'm leaning that same way because me and you both know we talked about this before. Kansas City defense is suspect.
Yeah.
And when you get a team that stretched that secondary, Kansas City, they struggle. Okay. And I think Buffalo had that team that they can stretch that secondary, mix in the run, keep Kansas City guessing what they're going to do. But here's the other thing. Buffalo defense. Kansas City going to have their work cut out for them And right now, as I'm looking at the game, I'm leaning. I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I'm leaning towards Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ken. Who would your boogers and beans?
You know what my boogers and beans were. Like
Okay,
I told, as Cowboy Nations, we talk all the time. Some of the fans I talk to, regular season means nothing to Ken. It's what we do in the postseason. And year after year after year, they let us down. You got some of the alumni that's calling for Mike McCarthy head. If Mike McCarthy, I know what people say Jerry Jones is sticking with. I will be surprised. I will be shocked if at the end of the year and they start preparing for next year, if Jerry Jones keep Mike McCarthy, I will be shocked and stunned because I'm telling you, there is a lot of alumni that is on Jerry them butts about what they performed out there. Look, 3 factors.
Go ahead.
That I noticed when the game kicked off. I seen no energy. I seen no motivation. I seen no hype. And then when I seen that Pollard was not a key factor in that game, Pollard would have been the one that opened up the opportunities for CeeDee Lamb and Amari. They couldn't get that. Zeke stunk up the plate. And I don't know what the offensive line was doing. They had no protection whatsoever. And then to run that 14-second, you ain't ran all year. You ain't ran the ball all year, and you're going to wait till 14 damn seconds.
Oh, boy.
You ain't ran the ball. We're hauling. You got 10 yards, and you're going to wait till 14 seconds left in the game to run. Look, let me tell you something. Mike McCarthy had all the power in the world to say, what are you getting ready to call? No. That was the lousiest. Look, y'all talk about Kyle Shanahan. He outcoached Mike McCarthy.
Oh, no question.
From word go. Outcoached him from word go. Because let me tell you something. With the weapons that you had, you should have been attacking downfield. Downfield all the time. It was there all game. He missed Schultz in the middle a couple of times. He missed CeeDee Lamb wide open a couple of times. Offensive line was raggedy. The whole game was. Look, by no means did I ever say the referees and that. Now, what I will say is what they talked about in that Cincinnati game. Now, that 14 seconds when the ref came down, he did what he was supposed to do. But the earlier part of the game, when he stood over that ball for 1 second, for the 1 second call, now that was blatant. I will say that. So fans, get off the referees' backs. Own up to it now. You look, for y'all that don't know, there is a Cowboy Nations out there that will tell the fans that you got them fans that is true fans that no matter what they see, what they say, what they hear, they too blue. But then you got the fans that call it what it is. We suck.
Well, I can tell you right now, if you want to hear, and that's good, Ken. I'm glad you're right there because you're sitting in the same ballpark as Marcus Spears. Now, if you want to hear the truth about the Dallas Cowboys, he's a die-hard Dallas fan because he played for him, Marcus Spears. Listen to Marcus Spears. Marcus Spears will tell you none of the stars showed up. Hey, none of them put the onus on their back and carried the team.
I listen to him, but I don't have to listen to him. My eyes don't deceive me. I seen what was going. Look, let me tell you something. Randall Gregory.
Oh man,
you're gonna commit some blatant penalties, costly penalties, and you're gonna smile like it's no big deal.
You know why he smiled? Because the envelope, the envelope was in his locker. That's why he smiled.
Right. Hey, look.
But look, let me tell you something.
Envelope was in his locker.
When you come out, look, let me tell you something. When you come out as a team and you see all them fans dressed in white, and you come out and you put a performance like that, that's the problem. You should immediately go into the desert and start working out for next year. Immediately. Soon as you take your shower, you put your drawers on, go in the desert, and start working out immediately.
Yeah.
Well, because what they did was it's a shame, man.
Yeah. But here's the other thing that I want to point out.
All right.
And all them coaches out there that's heavy on analytics.
Real quick, man. Real quick. Go ahead.
Pay attention to what Kyle Shanahan done in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying he should have went for it on 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even Tony Romo and them was talking about I would have went for the analytics, all this analytics stuff. Kyle Shanahan said, I'm going to take the points.
Yeah. And you know what? And you know the reason why Kyle Shanahan took the point? Huh?
What's that?
Because he knew at some point the real Garoppolo was going to show up, which he did. He threw that interception, and it could have cost him if he had went for it on 4. And the thing of it is Garoppolo, hey, look, he's like a Kirk Cousins now. Garoppolo will play 3.5 quarters for you at Pro Bowlish level. And then come back and do something crazy that will almost, if not, cost you the game. And Kyle Shanahan knew what he was working with in a quarterback, so he knew he had to put as many points up on that board and not take any unnecessary chances. He knew that.
But you know what? The thing is, and it starts with Jerry Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jerry Jones in the offseason, he gets everybody hyped up. He's a good hype man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you this now. Jerry Jones is not short on putting on any type of show.
No, he fooled them all. He told them he said Super Bowl or bust. So he fooled them with that statement alone.
What they need to focus on is the fundamentals and going in and game out. You know, because eventually your players start thinking like the fans.
Exactly.
And they ain't doing nothing.
Let me tell you something. And tell these coaches, I don't care what team it is. Look, let me tell you something. And tell people are started to be held accountable because Randall Gregory, I give you one pin. After that second pin, your butt would have been on the bench.
Hey,
it would have been. Look, you have got to start benching these players running around here smiling like everything hunky-dory, getting up, celebrating. You're down 28-10, and you're celebrating. These people got to be held accountable. There's no accountability.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to give the Dallas organization a chance to right or wrong. To right that wrong you talking about, Ken, because Randall Gregory is a free agent. If they re-sign him, then I know that they stuck on stupid.
Yep, he need to be gone. Like I said, we're going to see because he needs to be gone, man.
Look, he jumped off sides two critical times when it wasn't necessary.
And then he heard the man and tackled him. I don't know what that was about. That looked like some foolery stuff. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on. Ken, I'm going to tell you this right now. You're my brother, man. Love you to death, man. I feel your pain. I understand what you're going through. But see, the problem is the reason why this hurts most of the Dallas community is because of the simple fact they were talking. They believed that hype that Jerry Jones had put on. They figured that they could walk right through the playoffs and at least, at minimum, get to the big championship game on the NFC side and vow for a chance for the Super Bowl. And that's what they all believe. That's what they all talk. That's how they walk. That's how they ate. And at the end of the day, you saw many fans in that stadium. It was just like what we talked about at the beginning of the season. Charlie Brown and Lucy showed up. Charlie Brown went to go kick it. Lucy pulled the football back and said, not this year. And that's what happened. So, like you said, Ken, they need to be held accountable, and it starts at the top. All right? That's what needs to happen. All right. So, my ham doing that whole week, I'm going to be honest with you straight up and down, my ham was Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay did what they had. With what they had, because Tampa Bay wasn't working on all cylinders. They had some running backs out and some more stuff, and they managed to pop 31 off. They popped 31 bullets off on Philadelphia. And I'm going to tell you right now, Philadelphia is equivalent from our NCAA show that we talked about in the playoffs. Philadelphia is equivalent of Michigan. Yeah, they should have never even been in the dance. They showed up for nothing. So that's my ham. My pride is Kansas City. My pride is Kansas City. There was no fake in Kansas City most. You know, they went out there. They knew Big Ben, this was his final rodeo. They made sure it was his final ride. There was nothing going past it. There wasn't going to be no Ray Lewis debacle where they're going to just give it to Ben. Now, they went out, took care of business. They are the AFC overall number 1 seed. So they took care of their business, and they're waiting on Buffalo to come to town. Now, we're going to talk about that in the preview because Buffalo already been in Kansas City this year. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, that was my prime. My boogers and beans was who I'm going to stay on that game was Philadelphia. What in the Sam Hill was going on in Philly? Why did they even show up? Matter of fact, they didn't show up. It was just some sticks in green jerseys on that field because they did absolutely nada. Not a thing. Jalen Hurts looked hurt. It was a travesty. They wasted up a spot. You know, I don't understand it, man. I don't know what's going on in Philly. Now, I will say this: Jalen Hurts, he is their quarterback of the future. But what they did out there was the pass. That was the past Philadelphia team that I saw. So they wasn't ready. The lights was too big. The stage was too big. They just wasn't ready to play no football. And Tampa Bay was right for the picking. They was right for the picking. They didn't have their full running game. They only had Gronk to lean on. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they didn't even have Goodwin on the field.
They had Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. That's one. That's one. And they had Gronk. Gronk's old man. But they had another wide receiver, Pedro. They had another wide receiver that showed up, and he did his thing, man. Mike Evans was the leader, but I forgot the guy. I think it's Johnson. I think that's what his name was, Johnson. He did some things out there too to cover up for some of them gaps they had, and they took care of business. They took care of business. So they was my Philadelphia was my boogers and beans on that one. Yeah. So hey, thanks. Drop the comments. Gary Bean, Cuzzo. Pedro said he finally caught up with you. You responded on Facebook, and there was a statement you made. What was the statement he replied with?
Hey, Mike. Gary Bean disappeared for 2 days.
2 days.
Couldn't find him. Hear from him for 2 days. Couldn't find him, and he said he had to catch a flight for 2 days. You had to catch a flight for 2 days.
He was in the air for 2 days, huh? Yep.
Gary Bean, look, D-Dub. They are up the road. I ain't heard from him. He ain't posted nothing. Ain't heard from him.
Right.
Don't run and hide now.
Right. So when we roll into the playoff week, we're gonna have the Bengals in Tennessee. They're playing at Tennessee. Then we're going to have San Francisco and the Packers. Of course, they're playing the Lambeau because the Packers is the NFC overall number 1 seed. And then we're going to roll into Sunday. Hey, get your lines ready. Sunday, we got the Rams and the Buccaneers. They're playing in Tampa. And then we got the Buffalo Bills going into Kansas City. Now, what I want to ask Pedro, now what things to keep it kind of under a minute. What I want to know is what you're pulling out, what you're stamping, and who's going to be the aha for the playoff week. Go ahead, Pedro.
I think that the big game of the weekend, it is the big game of the weekend, is Buffalo and Kansas City.
Oh, no question.
That's the big game of the weekend. So that's the game that I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see that game. I already told you I'm leaning towards Buffalo right now. I need to look into it a little bit more, but I'm leaning towards Buffalo.
Okay. What you stand?
My aha moment would be if San Francisco 49ers beat Green Bay in Lambeau Field.
Okay.
That would certainly be
that would definitely be aha
aha moment. Yes, indeed. Yeah. But I'm going to stand.
Go ahead.
That the LA Rams is going down to Tampa Bay and they're gonna upset Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay have too many injuries. It comes to an end on Sunday. The run is over on Sunday.
Okay, I can believe that. I mean, the Rams got dynamite.
That defense of the Rams.
Yeah, they got a dynamite defense. That's where I was going.
They're going to shut Tampa Bay down.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Okay, Ken, what you pulling out? What you stamping? And what's your aha?
Well, I'm going to pull out that if old Henry
I forgot about him.
If old Henry plays, as much as I like the Bengals, I would say Tennessee will pull that one out. If old Henry don't play or play minimum, then I'm going to say the Bengals will win that one. So there's a coin toss there. Is old Henry going to be there? Or is he going to play minimum? But if he's at full strength and ready to go, I say I have to pull out Tennessee. So that's a double pull. Either way, it all depends on what Henry shows up Sunday. That's
what you stamp?
I'm a stamp. I'm a stamp the same thing. I'm a stamp. The Rams is gonna. I just think that Tom Brady's gonna have a hectic day because I think that the Rams defense gonna have him on his back. I'm gonna stamp that same thing Pedro stamped. I think that the Rams will stamp that Tampa Bay Buccaneers win.
Okay. And what's your aha?
My head scratcher?
Yeah, head scratcher.
It ain't really. I watched Kyle Shanahan and that man is dead. He looked like a person like right now, he's looking at film. Right now, he's looking at film. And I just think that head scratcher, like you said, if San Francisco beat Green Bay, that would be an aha. But it won't be so much as an aha. It just tells me that man did the man that put in his work. He was serious. He didn't crack no smiles. He was all about the play is what it is. Execute. He showed me pure execution from his coaching staff. So that's what I'm pulling out.
All right.
Execute.
All right. Now my turn. Okay. What I'm pulling out that I'm going to pull out that the Packers going to beat San Francisco. And the reason why I'm pulling that out is because, again, just like Dallas was all happy and go lucky when they beat up on the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco can't get too high on beating up on y'all. All right. And I'm not saying that y'all are bad. I'm just saying that the competition level between San Francisco and Dallas is about the same. It's just that San Francisco caught y'all, at a moment where your heads was too big. Green Bay is on a whole different level, man.
They are.
A whole different level. And you playing in Lambeau, San Francisco ain't got a chance. They ain't got a chance in Haiti. I'm telling you that right now.
I wouldn't say they ain't got a chance.
That's your aha. And so I'm telling you, aha ain't happening. So that's what I'm pulling out. I'm pulling that out. What I'm stamping Kansas City going to beat Buffalo. And the only reason why I'm stamping is because Buffalo went up to Kansas City earlier this year on October the 10th and beat them. And beat them kind of handily, 38 to, I think it was 38 to 10 or something like that. 38 to 28. That's what it was. And I think it's time for a little payback. And I think Kansas City remember that. So I'm going to have to stamp Kansas City going to get it.
Hey, Mike, I think it's going to be the same thing. I think it's going to be the same trip. Buffalo is going to go in Kansas City, and I'm telling you, they are going to win that. Look, I said I was leaning, but I was looking at some stuff on here. Buffalo, unless Buffalo gets stuck on stupid, they're going to win that game.
Hear what I'm saying. I'm going to finish that, and I'm going to give you my aha real quick, then we're going to close this out. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm stamping that this time is because if Mike McCarthy ain't the head coach, Ron Rivera ain't the head coach, Andy Reid is the head coach. Andy Reid is going to get him. I'm telling you, he's going to get him. My aha moment is going to be if the Bengals can go beat Tennessee with or without Henry. That's going to be my aha moment. So that's what I'm doing. So fans, I want y'all to drop your comments. Tell me what your aha moment, what you're stamping, and what you're pulling out. But look, we're going to come back and and break this whole post-playoff week down. So, hey, look, if y'all are if you like the bet, you better run up there to MGM or wherever you go and drop your lines right now because it's going to be huge and large this weekend. And we're setting everything up for the conference championship. So, do me a favor, subscribe.
Hit
that
like,
and ring that notification bell.
Ding, 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 ding.
And until then, we see you next week. I want y'all to stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay prayed up.
Prayed up.
And family and friends, peace.
Peace.
How about them cowgirls?
How about them?